Hello, everybody. Drew here, tip of the Mint Flips, where I'm a stay-at-home dad and a part-time eBay reseller. And every 100 subscribers, there is a giveaway, so make sure you're subscribed. I am trying out StreamYard finally. So I'm going to try to do things. Bear with me. If things go wrong, if you can't hear me, let me know, all that kind of stuff. I am figuring it out, I hope. Let me try this thing, see if this works. I did a thing there. Fart Sack Jack. My dad trying to call me right in the beginning. There we go. First thing gone wrong. Fart Sack Jack said, my damn bell better work. And he's referring to the bell notifications. If you want to know when lives are happening, they'll usually be on Mondays, sometimes not. They'll usually be around 6 o'clock, sometimes not. So if you hit the bell notification, you will know when I go live, when new videos come out. So if you want to do that, that is up to you. And then I don't know if they're in the chat still, or if this is just from earlier, but this is super cool. John's Many Collections joined the YouTube membership. So with that, John's Many Collections. And then there was one other one today. I don't remember who it was. I apologize. But if you do join the memberships, you get a special edition Christmas holiday tip of the Mint Flips sticker. But I have no way. This is the part that I didn't think of ahead of time. If you join the memberships, I have no way to contact you. At least I haven't figured that out yet. Everything's new to me. So if you join the memberships, contact me through the Facebook group or through Instagram, and I can get your address to send that out to you. William Simmons, how you doing? See, look at that. I know how to do stuff now. Also, hopefully, this will allow me to do screen sharing, which I have actually something to share a little bit later. And then I can finally do, for some of you might remember, some of you don't, I wanted to do like a tier list, like a ranking of YouTube reseller content creators. So I think what the plan will be, loosely based, is go over, like in like today's chat, we pick who we would watch, and then we'll do like a watch party, watch one episode, or maybe a couple if they're real short ones, and do like a live review type of thing. And then after we've done that for, you know, however many, 40 or 20 or whatever seems like an appropriate amount. And then I'll form all that into one video where I rank them and all that kind of stuff. So we could do it all together. Kenneth Culp, how you doing? So the theme of the video is that I turn things around because I'm trying to have a subject for each one, so it's not just me up here jibber jabbing. But so for this one, it's that my sales were so bad. Like the thought about having to look for other work bad. You know, it wasn't. I always say, you know, that I'm not going to lose my house over it. Well, yeah, that's because if I wanted today to walk outside and go to a job site and pick up a hammer and make 20 to 25 bucks an hour, I could do that any day I want. I could call one of 20 people I know and say, hey, need a laborer today? 20 bucks an hour. I'll be there whatever time you want. Easy. But I don't want to do that. That is terrible. I did this to get away from doing things I didn't want to do. Oh, here's a good one. Michael says hi. Hello, Michael. How you doing? Michael is my boy. He's the middle one, if you don't know that. So first thing I did was start listing better stuff. Duh. That's always the one. This glare is going to drive me crazy. Do I have glare that drives me crazy, or do I read? Can I be able to see or be annoyed? Which one? It's a daily battle. Is list better stuff, but that's what everybody always says, and you can't always get better stuff. But sometimes, and I am guilty of this probably more often than I should, you have better stuff, but you're avoiding it to list easier stuff. So try not to do that. Also, I had to go to the doctor today. I'm fine, but I got like this lingering breathing thing I've had. So they got me on some steroids and some other medicine. So I'm feeling a little loopy, not really loopy, but a little sweaty. I guess I'm like, I got like the cold sweats, and also a super upset stomach. So I don't think I'll be around long, but I say that every single time. And then I'm usually here for like 2 hours. Rolling with the Stones. How's it going? What do we got here too? Kathy Black, hand pink waving. Is that is that you making fun of me because I wave all the time? Oh, Cadence says hi too. So I got the whole family watching. Hi, Cadence. Cadence is my oldest. So next thing I did was I switched my main shipping option to Ground Advantage. That's not, these aren't like epiphany, like major things. I'm not the first person to do this stuff. This is just stuff that I did, and now things are going better. I did also notice that the very small sample size of people I actually watch, other resellers that I actually consume their content, also seem to have an uptick around the same time I did. So it could be just coincidental. It could be fourth quarter kicked in a little late. You know, people wait and do their holiday shopping a little later, which most stuff I sell is not holiday shopping. So that's probably not it. Maybe eBay fixed one of their glitches. My guess would be a little bit of all the things adds up into better sales. Other thing I did was I did go through every single listing. I finally got through that. I went through every listing I have except for the Jewel Pops and the wigs, and I recomped every single item in the store. And that has been huge for unloading stuff that was never going to sell. And this weekend was another one. I sold probably, I don't know, 10 items of the 20 items I sold this weekend were stuff that if I hadn't recomped it was never, ever, ever going to sell in a million years. Not a chance. And then let's see if I can figure out the screen sharing. Also, I added some fun stuff so that I can throw in things like
$50. $50. $50. $50.
I thought stuff like that might be fun. Like I said, I'm trying to figure out the live streaming, and if I get, knock the rust off a little bit and, get a little bit of practice, maybe I could start having some guests on. What do you guys think about that? You think maybe a guest once a month, or maybe even every time? So let me see if I can figure out screen sharing. All right, here we go. Okay, so the other thing I did is I turned off my promoted listing. I left it on for 2 items. One of those items sold. It was a Pyrex bowl set, and the other one was a set of pots and pans. And both of them, while repricing them, I decided, okay, even though I'm repricing these, I still need to promote them to put them up higher in search results. Or the pots and pan set was more because there's no sold comps, but it's like a nicer pots and pan set. So I'm hoping that promoting it will put it out to people who are looking for them. It's like a new set of pots and pans, a couple $100 worth. But the only reason I priced it a couple $100 is because somebody else had one listed and there's like $250, so I made mine $200. I undercut them, but there's no sales history. So I put promoted on that. But if you'll see here, this is my impressions, and where it drops off to basically nothing on the chart is where I stop promoting. Impressions don't mean jack. They don't mean nothing. Impressions are another way of eBay trying to turn you into the product. Wow, look at my impressions. They're way up. Look at all these people looking at my listings. No, that they're not looking at your listings. That's just impressions. Whatever their metrics is for that, that's what they're using it for. and mine dropped off to nothing. And then if I can scroll down further, this one is page views. This is people actually looking at your listing. Do you see a difference in these two charts? Oh, wow, I stopped paying for promoted. What will ever happen to me? Then page views. Oh, look at that. Not a change. If I probably extrapolated the chart out a little further, they only let you do, I think, 90 days max. It probably is up from previous, but it's definitely not down. And then those, if you see those two major spikes on the 24th and the 2nd, those are days where I did huge chunks of end and sell similar, like hundreds of listings. I did end and sell similar, which I was going to do. I spoke before about aggressively doing like my whole store, like upping my store for how many listings I get so that I could end and sell similar on a massive level. I don't want to do that. It's a lot of extra work. And if I'm back to getting sales, that's adding an element that I don't want to do or need to do. So I'm not going to. But I am going back to ending and selling similar after 30 days. So my listings never auto relist. When it gets up to the point to auto relist, I'm ending them and selling similar. So it's only, 40 or 50 a day, something like that, not 1,000 in a day, or do my whole store and do, 1,300 or whatever. But then, so you go down a little further and you'll see total quantity sold. So you see that right side of that chart where I keep wanting to point at it, like that's going to help. Like I can put my finger in the screen sharing. I'm figuring it out. But if you see the right side of that screen it's not way up, but the consistency has returned. And that is through all of these things, and none of those things are promoted listing. The other side of that, though, if I turned promoted listing on all my listings, would it go up from here? Likely. It actually would. I believe that I would get more sales, but I have made a personal stance, a moral high ground where unless I think the listing specifically needs it, I'm going to not do it. I refuse. So I'm not telling people not to do it. I do believe if I turned my promoted back on and I just did like a 2.1% across the board, I'd probably get some more sales. But would I lose out some money on some sales I'm already going to get? It's only 2.1% that I promote. I never go higher than that. That's the bottoms too. I do 2.1 to put me above everyone that just does the bottom. But like I said, I think I've just decided to take, I don't want to say the moral high ground, but I decided to take a stand, and I'm no longer promoting. Hi, bro. I hope meds help you. Never gets old. Thea's $50. Yes, I do. I do like it.
$50. $50. $50. $50.
I hit it twice. My bad. JP in the house. How you doing? So like I said, unless somebody's got some questions in the chat, I don't have much for talking points beyond that. And like I said, I'm feeling a little out of it today. But what do you guys think about having guests? Do you think I should have guests? If I do have guests, you got any suggestions? And don't say Harry Tornado. He's not going to answer my message. If it's got to be somebody, kind of on my level a little bit. Probably a lot of the people that are also have channels but are normally in the chat, that'd probably be the first people I reach out to. And then what about the watch parties also? Would you guys be interested in the watch parties? If so, do it on Mondays. Do it a different day. That would be probably a little difficult for me to commit to a whole nother day. Or if you think the watch parties are a good idea, who's some of the first channels we should check out? These are all things I need help deciding, and you guys get to help decide that. While everybody hopefully files in with some questions and comments and stuff, I'll show off some of the video clips I added to be able to add into live streams. This one is one of my favorite things just in general.
La 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 ka-ching.
That is one of my favorite scenes in all of television history. Oh, what's a watch party? I was saying earlier, probably right before you got here, I've been wanting to do like a tier ranking of YouTube resellers, and I think doing like a watch party where we pick a reseller, watch an episode or two, depending on how long it is. We critique it, like, oh, I like how they say this. I like the way they do this in their videos. I find them helpful. I find them annoying, that kind of stuff, just for fun. And then I'll go back after we've done this a few times and there's enough entries into the ranking, and I'll build a tier and I'll make that into, I'll edit it down into one video. Yeah, it's Dwight with the it's just before I was a reseller, I was like, oh man, that's perfect. But that's just such a good reseller thing. He went out he figured out what was going to be the hot toy that year, bought them all, and then
La 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 ka-ching.
That's me usually every fourth quarter. This year, not as much. And then I
More money, more money, more money.
which also with the channel memberships, I made GIFs of some of these things, which I don't know how they'll work. Until someone gets in the comments and actually tries one out, I have no idea if they're going to work. I have no idea if there's going to be sound with them, if it's just a video clip. I don't know. YouTube told me to make some, so I did it. I'm just glad someone is doing live chats again. I miss the days when Harry Tornado, RVA, Resale King, etc. did them all the time. Yeah, it's like there's a new wave. Well, actually, there's been multiple waves. But sometimes, like, some people come into the space now, the reseller space, and like they don't know who Craigslist Hunter is because he's already, eclipsed to being huge, and then he's kind of tapered off to, doing more of like what he wants to do, doing videos when he wants to. He's not, grinding on YouTube anymore. It's not as big of a part of his life. And then another thing I struggle with, and this is with every channel I ever follow, and I apologize to any of you if that ever happens with me, probably won't, because I like to half-ass things, is their channel will grow into a point where their editing gets really good, like really good, and it becomes too polished for me, and it becomes, I don't know, I just don't feel connected to the channel anymore because it's just too corporate. That's kind of what it feels. It just becomes too corporate. Like I get the ick about it. I'm like, I feel bad. I'm like, I just don't want to watch this anymore. I don't feel like we're friends, because that's the weird thing about YouTube is you watch somebody and they become part of your daily stuff. So you kind of, when they change, like, oh, so and so changed. I don't know. I don't even know them anymore. I feel bad, but it's just that's how it goes for me. I don't know if anybody else is like that. Sounds fun and gives us an opportunity to see other resellers that we normally wouldn't look at on our own. Yeah, and that's also for me, because I don't go and consume reseller content like at all anymore. Like like at all. The few people that I talk to in the chat, that's about it. And that's more to support people I would consider, you know, friends in the space than it is to actually watch the content. Because I have such little time for it. And then when I do have spare time, I am a cinephile. Like I have a backlog of movies from 10 years ago that I still am trying to get through, TV shows that have been off the air for 5 years that I haven't even started, but I plan to watch the whole thing. Flip this. I've been watching you for a couple of years now, and I just started my store in September. Oh, see, you're one of those few that were watching for the entertainment value, not the resale instructional value, I guess, whatever value I give out there. That always throws me off a little bit when people are watching, but they don't resell. I get it. I understand. It's the, you know, the American Pickers type of thing. That's why channels like Froggy Flips, Bearded Thrift Machine, a couple others that, Cincinnati Picker. That's why those channels, they have why they get so big, because they're good at what they do, but because they have a more broad appeal, because people who don't do reselling, there's people out there that love watching picking videos. They love it. They don't care if and I'm not saying any of these people do this, but there are channels that do. They don't care if like the pricing doesn't match up. If they say, oh yeah, I bought this thing and I'm going to sell it for $500. I got it for $2. And that's not true at all. There's a certain percentage of people that watch those types of channels that don't care. They're just watching it to go, ooh, wow, look at that thing. Oh, wow. That's it. That's the whole it. Oh, okay. Well, I don't want to ask which one, but I hope it's not that certain one that lots of us have a problem with because they look up their stuff and price it too high. Or put it on their online store, which, you know, it's a business. I would do the same thing. And I appreciate it. I do.
This pleases me.
I'm going to have too much fun with that. JP with a question. We got another graded Halo game. Would you ever consider selling something like that through a company like Golden, like the Netflix show, if you've heard of it? Like Golden Auctions? I do know of Golden Auctions, but that's only because I dabble in collecting and grading and stuff like that. Unless the value is crazy high. And I mean, it would have to be many thousands of dollars for me to use a service like Golden, because you could do it on multiple platforms and just make more money, because the fees you're going to pay on Golden is probably, I don't know, if the fee structure is good, then sure. If they're charging 3% or something, then yeah, because even if you make less money selling it, which you not saying you would make less money on something like Golden, but if their fees are a lot less, then that's you kind of got to weigh those things out a little bit. But for me, because I am a reseller, for me to ever outsource my reselling to somebody, it would have to be like a super rare antiquity, and it would have to be worth many, and I'm talking many, for me to not sell it, it'd have to be over 10 grand to even consider it. Your first one sold less than 10 hours, so you didn't run an auction, and you got the price you listed it for? Or did you take a best offer? which either way, that's awesome. Do you got these games just sitting around, or you got a good source down there? I might have to come visit. But yeah, the other problem, but if it sells, it sells, and what you paid for it matters. Is that graded VHS, graded games, graded cards market is real shaky, and it's when you get further and further out on the degenerate investing, spectrum. So like if you're into crypto, it'd be like your altcoins, like your Doge and your Shiba garbage, whatever. Or if you're into stocks, and you'd be like your penny stocks. The further you get out in that risk curve, during bad times, the longer those prices will stay overinflated, because the people in those spaces are, I don't want to say, they're less knowledgeable about things like macro environments, macro investing, macroeconomics. And so they're the last ones to get burnt during, recessions and things like that, which I still think they will officially call it a recession here in the next quarter. I think we'll still get there, but I think the worst times are still ahead of us. But those investments further out on the risk curve, they tend to hang on a little longer, but they get hammered the worst. When it finally happens, they get smoked. And I know like the crypto alt market and the, stock markets, all that's already taken a major hit. But I think in those riskier ones, they still have a long way down to go. So that's just kind of a, you sold it for over 1K and in 10 hours. I think whatever you did there was perfect. Rolling with the Stones, I think Mountain Man Treasure has been sending some graded VHS to auction houses. Yeah, I used to watch a lot of Mountain Man Treasure because he used to do, I don't know if he still does them, but he had lives on that were like always during when I would be listing. But I think they were, what do they call it I should know, I used to do them, premieres. I think they were always premieres. So it was just like him in the chat, and it was just be his videos. But I haven't seen one in a while. Sometimes you'll get, it doesn't happen often, but it happened to me for 1 Foot Flipper. Sometimes you'll just get unsubscribed for some reason. I don't know why, but maybe they have a Mountain Man Treasure, because for some reason I'm like, did he disappear? But I think he's still making videos, so maybe I should check on that. Gil, I sent my first box to Amazon FBA about 4 weeks ago, and it's still not checked in. Well, this is a heavy time for Amazon. I mean, fourth quarter, Cyber Monday, and Black Friday, and what is it, Home Shopping Saturday or whatever. It's just so much. Pretty soon, they're going to start it in October and run it till Christmas Eve. Major specials, get your last second deals. But I think that's a common thing for there to be backups this time of year for Amazon, because they're concentrating on getting stuff out, not processing stuff in. But that's great that you're doing FBA. I wanted to, when I was like, decided when I was getting started reselling is I said, okay, I want to do FBA. I'll probably dabble in a bunch of different platforms, but I, for once in my life, I said, let me start small with one thing and then go from there. And then after that, I decided that I'd rather just be proficient and try to be the best I can at one platform, and then eventually maybe branch out, which I really haven't much outside of local marketplace, which just reminded me I was supposed to message a guy back about a cassette player like a week ago. So that sale's probably gone. And then I did TCG player, which the timing on that for me couldn't have been any worse because the market dropped out. And then I didn't get accepted into TCG player direct, which means now I ship out orders that are like 30-cent profit, and it takes multiple minutes to process the order. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm not going to just shut it down, but it's annoying is what it is. This is for the graded Halo game. JP says we posted it for what we thought it was worth, and it got bought, no auction. Well, that's perfect. I mean, I always second guess myself when something sells quickly. Like, oh no, did I underprice it? Blah blah blah. I don't care. I've gotten so over that because when I priced it, I said this is a good price. This is the price I want. If somebody buys it 3 seconds later, huzzah! I mean, it's just good for me. So I got sound for that. Sure, we'll go with this one again.
This pleases me.
Oh, that's fun. I got to find a bunch more now. I like your live. We can see the questions or so you're talking about. Yeah, that's because I cashed in on some Black Friday deals and I got StreamYard. I also signed up for, if any of you've noticed, I've been putting out a lot of shorts lately. Well, by a lot, I mean 1 a day. I tried a free trial of a thing called Opus Clips, and it's an AI service that I punch my video in and it pukes out 10 to 20, depending on the length of the video, shorts. And I watch them, and if they are coherent, I post them. That is it. Because I know I need to make shorts for YouTube. Well, I don't need to, but it's good. I get a ton of views on them for nothingness, and I do get subs from them, and it just opens more eyes to me, which is great. But I don't want to take the time to make shorts. I hate short form content. I think it's poison to the mind. But I was like, okay, let me test this out, and it works awesome. It's not the best, but as far as like I punch it in and it gives it back to me, and I put it out, and people watch them, it's doing it for me. So I outsourced it. So if they feel a little, I don't know, soulless, like there's not really a lot of Drew in the shorts, that's why, because I'm not doing any of the editing for them. If they make, because sometimes the jump cuts, it's AI, so it's trying to figure out what you were talking about. It doesn't have like feedback from me, and so sometimes they don't make sense. I just skip those, but sometimes they're really good, and I'm like, wow, you picked parts out of a video that were 15 minutes apart, put them together with captions and all that kind of stuff. And so I also did the Black Friday deal on that, and so those will be coming out going forward. But they're, I don't know, short form content. I don't know. Well, also because I wanted to have a presence on TikTok, but I don't want to be on TikTok. Like the longer I'm on the app, the longer I'm like, ooh, poisoning my brain on the app. And I don't want to like learn how to make TikToks. I don't want to do any of that. So I'm just going to punch him on TikTok too and see how that goes. Mark Livermore, greetings from the Yoop, which is here. This thing over here. If you guys don't know, the UP. If you're from there, you're a Youper. I think we got our first stay for winter snow today. I hope you're taking your share of the snow too. Yes. We got a couple inches. It was enough that I love my neighbors. I could not have been blessed with better neighbors where I bought my house. But when I have a certain time that I want to get up and you're plowing your driveway at like 5 in the morning and I'm a light sleeper, I just wanted to peel my face off. I was like, please don't do this to me. Cause then I'm just up. I got up, I listed a couple things. I tried not to wake anybody else up for a while. I started the coffee. I was like, now my day's starting 5 in the morning. But yeah, we got some snow, but I don't care about the snow. It's the temperature that drives me crazy. When I woke up this morning at 5:30, it was 27 degrees. When I went to the post office at 4 o'clock, it was 27 degrees. When it never changed. It was 27 degrees the entire day. Usually you're like, oh, okay, it might warm up a little bit. Sun will come out, maybe later it'll warm up just a scotch. No, just It stays there the whole day, freezing. Old school flips. How's it going? Troy is still putting out videos regularly. I assumed so because he was on a live with Kat just I think this last week. So I don't know. I don't know. His videos haven't been popping up. I'll have to look into that. I'll do some investigating. Mark Livermore, the on-screen comment thing is cool. Yeah, I love it. This is StreamYard. I was deciding between which one to use, and I let a Black Friday deal decide for me because it was actually a pretty good deal. There's a free version, but I was like, I did the math of how much I make from lives, and I was like, okay, I never make more than this, but YouTube is, it's always going up. How fast it goes up depends on you and your channel. But I kind of extrapolated out, and I was like, okay, might by the end of the year the lives might pay for the subscription. So I was like, it's a wash, whatever. But I'm happy with it so far. Being able to screen share, all that kind of stuff, and I can have guests now. Small time bookseller. If you are not following small time bookseller, go give them a sub. One of my favorite content creators out there. Do you have any recommendation for reset sources for how to grade albums? I've avoided putting a grade and just describing the damage. Resources? No. I wish they would change the grading system, which I haven't listened to a record in a long time. They might have, but the grading system that they have adopted with cards is kind of, it's a more user-friendly grading system. But what I do is and with books, I do the same thing. Not great. The conditions are, good, acceptable, all that kind of stuff. I think it's for books they have that. Is I just, whatever I think it is, I do one below or maybe even two below that. Because the person buying it, they're going to, in most cases, they're going to kind of look at it and know. But for records, I have no idea how you grade a record without playing a record. I mean, you can, if there's like a visible scratch in it, aren't records just junk at that point? I don't have, I do have a record player, I guess. I bought it to start playing records and then never used it. But I would always, the ones I would do, I would, give them I looked up a video on how to clean them. And so I would clean each one for just dust and all that kind of stuff. And if there was visible scratches, I would take a picture of it, but only if it was worth a certain amount. But if there's anything visibly wrong with it, I just wouldn't I just wouldn't list it because I was like, I don't know without playing it. But then in general, I go way low. My books, every single book I list is listed as acceptable because there's pictures. You can see it. With a record, that's a little different because you'd have to zoom in to really see, how good it is. But I'll grade the, because I think if I'm remembering correctly, with records you can grade the sleeve and then the record itself. Because the same thing I think with CDs is you can grade the jewel case and then the actual CD, and that I'll make a call on what I think is, and then I'll still round it down. But like I said, with books, I put acceptable. It could be brand new, best thing ever, acceptable. Look at this. We got ourselves a celebrity. Cha-ching King in the house. Thank you so much for that. Everybody hit the thumbs up. It genuinely helps. Thank you for stopping in, and definitely thank you for the super chat. Let me see. Let me get you a cool...
This pleases me.
Or because it's the holiday season, I'll do this one too.
La 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 ka-ching.
You could do it's close enough to your name. I think you could do a remix with that. Very, very nice of you. I appreciate that so much. Super cool. You actually, Cha-ching King was the first person to ever give me a super chat. And in the chat doing it again. Just genuinely a nice guy. It's so weird how you can know a person without actually knowing a person. And if you are, I know I usually have a lot of newer sellers. If you are a newer seller and you're not following Cha-Ching King, you are making a mistake. His how-to videos, tops. William Simmons, what's Mikhail's channel again? It is Resale Mania, like WrestleMania. That's how I remember it. Just want to support someone who supports you. Yeah. Mikhail, though, on the shorts, he's crushing his shorts, but he messaged me because he just fired his channel back up. He had taken time off to just be a reseller and make money and that kind of stuff. But he messaged me and he said, well, I got my first hater. And it was, I won't repeat it, but he's got a nose ring and someone said something offensive. It's offensive enough that I won't repeat it. But I messaged him back and said, hey, you made it. That's how you know. That's how you know you made it, is because somebody takes the time out of their day to try to mess up your day. Then you're like, okay, I made it. I'm doing something right.
This pleases me.
It's my favorite. I'll probably overdo it with these little video clips, but it's my channel. I'll do what I want. Oh, here's a fun fact. I was born in the UP, so we are practically related. That's possible. Were you in, this area, or were you in like the other 99% that's just the forest? You basically have here to here is somewhat people. And then over here, you have Marquette, which is a college town in a fairly large city, bigger than mine by a lot. And then the rest of it is forest. It's towns my size or much smaller. Rolling with the Stones, I never include specific condition grades on my vinyl or cassettes. Yeah, I think, because I haven't done either of those in a while, but I think I was just trying to, if you're trying to make sure you fill out enough item specifics, which I also have, I'm done with that. And I think eBay has come around a little bit, because my list of recommended item specifics used to say like thousands of recommended item specifics. And then the other day I looked and it was a 3-digit number. I don't remember what it was, but it wasn't a 4-digit number anymore. And so I don't know if maybe they removed some from the recommended, but if it's not required, I don't do it unless me, as a reseller and someone with experience, goes, I think this information is good for a buyer. And usually it's because someone has asked me a question and I don't want to have to answer that question again. So I, from then on, put that information in. They'll still ask the question because nobody reads descriptions. But I could see, because vinyl collectors, maybe all media collectors, but vinyl collectors are, audiophiles. They can be a little particular. So maybe they would sort by, they would remove the, the lower end, only search the, whatever the grades are, good and above. I could see that being possible. So yeah, then maybe you would want to leave it blank because you don't want to remove the possibility. I don't got a great answer on that. One Foot Flipper, I didn't get the notification. Better have that bell selected then. See, do I have oh yeah, you got to make sure that you. Oh, nope. I thought that had a bell in it. I'll have to get one with a bell. How about this one?
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
It never seems to work. Gil, Cha-Ching is a legend. Yeah, and Cha-Ching King, I think, started after me. Same thing with like 1 foot. Whenever somebody starts after me, I'm not gonna say. I mean, I am about as transparent as you can get. I am a jealous person. I am super competitive and super jealous. So when someone comes into the space and cruises past me, I'm like, yes, good for them. Like, you're doing great and you're doing a good job and you're putting out great content. But I'm not, how would I put that? I'm not jealous. I guess I'd put it that way. Because I am, January 2nd will be my 3-year YouTube anniversary. And I will hopefully get to 3,000 subs by then. I'm very close. I assume I will. I'm actually shocked that it hasn't happened yet. I've had a bit of a lull in subs until I started doing all the shorts, which they get terrible feedback. I mean, my thumbs up to thumbs down ratio on my shorts is atrocious, but I still get subs from it and views. And I don't know. I just don't want to do it. I hate short form content. I literally believe, and I mean, some science would back that up, that it's poison to the brain. Cha-Ching King was in Bessemer. That's a town I haven't even heard of. So I'm guessing it's in the woodsy area. I'll have to check that out later. I have been all over the UP, so maybe I've been there. 1 foot flipper. I still today do not understand how I have more subs than you. You are absolutely better at YouTube than I am. You know what? Not true. That's not true. Because I actually am going to, hopefully soon, I'm stealing some of your format. Because what you're doing that I have, I think that's a lot of my problem is I, from day one, have wanted to make, and this people would say, yeah, do that. I've wanted to make the videos I want to make. I want to make the content that I would like to watch, with the videos that I would want to watch in the style that I like to watch. But I have to have some acceptance of the fact that those two things are competing with each other. I want my channel to grow at a faster rate than it's growing, but the way I make my videos does not mesh with that completely. And something you do that I am going to start adopting is you are really good about having a solid topic for each video, even in your what solds. And I've done that sporadically. It's a lot more. I think I'm too particular and too picky when it comes to editing. The more I add, the more I have to add. And so I'm going to start doing that. That's how I'm going to, instead of making dedicated videos, we had made that list a couple lives ago of like how-to vid things. One of my many maniac lists here. I promise I'm not a serial killer with these lists over here. Is I'm just going to pick one. And then there was another list too from my last giveaway where I just had people put in their biggest concerns or the thing they struggle with the most with reselling. And I went through and made a list of that. And then some of them had the ones that have had the same answer. They'll get pumped up the list. And I'm going to start doing that where there'll be what sold videos, but I will start the video, which if you like my intro, I'm changing it. Sorry, I'm going to do it. It's not the first time I've changed it. So I'm going to definitely mix it up. So I can have a solid topic because people need to know within 3 seconds, because that's the world we live in, what the video is about. And I'm not good at that. I like that I turn the camera on and I go because it helps my brain go, but I do need to put in some prep work. I do need to do that a little better. And I'm stealing that directly from you because that's what I did. That I went to your channel and I was like, what is 1 foot doing that I'm not, that made his channel blow up? And that I think is what it is. I think you're really good about having a dedicated topic for the video, even your What Sold videos. And I'm 100% stealing that from you. I mean, you're not the first person to do it, but I did sit down and was like, I got to figure out what's the difference. But that is really, honestly, that's really nice of you to say, though. And this is not the first time One Foot has said this. He's constantly shocked that he's doing better than me. Wrestling Figs, did you sell the Exit PC games? Yes, I did. I think in the next video that comes out, which, that means I got to edit a video. I haven't even started. It comes out Wednesday, so let's hurry up on that. Craig M. Rog, let's go Lions. Yes, let's go Lions. Just like when they lost the Ravens, I am not worried about that loss to Green Bay. Green Bay is a better team than I thought they were. Lions did not play great. And teams that are going to make a push in the playoffs, I think truly need to have losses, bad losses, kick in the teeth losses, heartbreak losses to get their minds right, to get them stuff to study on film, to get things the coaches can yell at them about, to figure stuff out before you get into the important games. And we're making it to the playoffs. I'm again, not worried. Making it to the playoffs. We need to be playing our best football at the end. Go Lions. And go Blue. Oh, that was a great game. Cha-ching King, I opened my YouTube account on 12/31/20. You opened yours on 1/3/21. I beat you by days and days. So we're right on par there. You just did it a lot better than me. Cha-ching King, I am an incredibly slow editor. It takes me an awful long time to get my videos completed. I wasn't subscribed to One Foot Flipper. I thought for sure I was. I fixed that. Yeah, like I said, I thought I was subscribed. That sounds like a totally different thing. To One Foot for a while, and I got unsubbed from that one. And then Mountain Man Treasure, we were just talking about him, and he hasn't been popping up. So sometimes it does, I think, bump them out, but I don't know. But there we go. One Foot got you another sub. Now, Cha-ching King, you and I'm terrible with names, but Scott, I think. But I'm gonna stick with Cha-ching King in case I'm wrong. You were a teacher before this, right? Because if you haven't subscribed to Small Time Bookseller, you guys both have a very similar vibe. And I think I've seen this too many times for it not to be true. Teachers, and if I'm wrong about you being formerly a teacher, please let me know. But teachers transition to YouTube perfectly, so well, because they have spent years and years and years keeping the attention of people who do not want to pay attention. So there's just, it's ingrained on how to, of course, public speak, but how to grab the attention of children or people that just, or worse than that, teenagers, people that do not want to listen to you, who are actively trying not to listen to you. You have, even if you're not consciously aware of it, subconsciously, that stuff is built in. And so I can actually back test, and teachers who become good YouTube content creators, I would bet all the money I have that they were also good teachers. Commonwealth teacher. I mean, it transitions, the skill set transitions perfectly. And there's no spitwads. You don't got to worry about that. One Foot, I spend more and more time editing now, although my highest ranked videos are often done in one take with no editing at all. I think the type of viewers I have, if I did less editing, they would still watch. In my older videos, there's a lot more and like time where I'm like, I weave in the thinking, which in the lives you can catch every once in a while. But when I'm out in the garage, sometimes I'm just staring off into space for way too long, trying to think of the one word I want to use instead of moving on because I want that word in the video. I think people would still watch if my videos were longer, you know, because people that watch reselling content, a 30+ minute video is not uncommon. You know, if you watch Shed Flips, you know, you're talking 45 hour 15 sometimes now that he's been shoving multiple days into one video. I can't watch his videos anymore because I don't have that kind of time. Bums me out. But I could do less editing, but I don't like it. And I get caught between making a video I know will do well and making a video that I want to make. And I'm the one editing it. So I'm trying to find a good balance. And, you know, 3 years in, I think I'm finding an okay one. Andy So Meta, how you doing? Excuse me. What's in that cup? Just water today. I'm on some, I don't know, steroid and I don't know, like maybe an antibiotic. I don't know if it's an antibiotic. I don't know. I just had this. If you guys might have caught in views months ago, I was having a breathing issue, and that has not subsided. And I went to the doctors 3 weeks ago, and the one day where I wasn't having a breathing problem and my chest wasn't making noises was that day. And he's like, I don't hear anything. Seems like you're perfectly fine. And then luckily when I went back in today, 3 weeks later, he could hear something. So he prescribed me some stuff, which I wish I would have had 3 weeks ago when I told him my symptoms, but that's how it works. But no, just water, because I don't think I'm allowed to have anything else on it, but not gonna risk it. I just hope I can sleep tonight, because he was like, some people react poorly to the steroid and you get antsy and you might have trouble sleeping and blah, blah, blah. Don't take it too late in the day. And I was like, I can't drink caffeine past 2 o'clock or I'll stay up all night. I am screwed. William Simmons, you, Foot, and Cha-Ching do a great job with content. I think making someone feel like they are on the same level and not having a hidden agenda helps. That's something I've tried very much to do. Even when I like am, I don't know, not trying to get something from it, but even when I'm like offering something like memberships or whatever, I can't help but preface it with like, you don't really have to, you don't need to, but if you want to, I'll put it out there. Like, some of those channels, I spoke to people on like a level where I would consider them acquaintances. I wouldn't say friends, but then I still, sometimes I watch the videos and I get like I get the ick from it. Cause I'm like, it grosses me out sometimes when people are selling things that people don't need. The snake oil salesman type stuff. That's what when you're putting something out there that people can buy if they want, but when you're selling it and there's no need for it at all, like ever, that's what I'm like, oof, I wish you weren't doing that. And speaking of membership, John's Many Collections, Shed Flips has gone too far, in my opinion. If you mean length of video, I have to agree. I mean, I've been watching Lonnie since I started, and he is my favorite. I mean, half the reason I started a YouTube channel is like, maybe me and Lonnie can be friends. But I just can't watch it anymore because it's just too long. But John's Many Collections, thank you for joining the membership. Please reach out to me through either the Facebook group or Instagram so I can send you your limited edition holiday sticker donated by the Lowrys, who are the best. I love them. And I mean that. I do not know these people on any level above YouTube and all that kind of stuff. I have love for these people. They have been so kind to me for years now, and they've just been there for me. I don't want to even put it in quotes. They've been there for me. Sometimes, you know, I've had some rough patches over the last couple of years. I mean, outside, you know, not just like COVID lockdowns, life stuff, all that kind of stuff. And they've just been really kind to me for a long time. I don't think they're not usually in the chats, but I think they watch the lives. So if you're out there, thank you. Cha-ching King, Andy Someta, I don't hate editing. I'm just slow at it. My goal is to get good enough at editing that the videos are genuinely helpful, but I would never edit for a living. I can't imagine. I like editing. I don't like editing some of the content that I create, because like sourcing videos, garage sale videos. Oh, that's why I'm dreading that I've promised and I'm making a commitment to doing it this summer. I hate it. I hate it. It's like watching paint dry, because there's just so much downtime of nothingness. Just so much that I'm having to just sift through to try to find, you know, I'm going through 3 hours of video to find 15 minutes of content. It's brutal. And when you're editing, if you got 3 hours of content to go through and you're trying to edit that, that's like 6 hours of editing, at least for me. Whatever my sold videos, whatever the video length is, it's usually double that is how long it took me. So if it's a half an hour video, it took me an hour to edit. Not that bad. But if it's a garage sale video and I got a day's worth of footage to go through, I'm trying to cut that down to almost nothing, because most of the day is nothing. So maybe I need to, and I think I've said this before, I need to figure out how to edit better on the fly. So maybe, you know, talk to myself in the camera, like cut this part now, that kind of stuff. I don't know. I'll figure it out though, or I'll just do it and complain about it. That's most of the things I do. I'll do it, but I'm going to complain about it the whole time. One Foot Flipper, my only agenda is that I made 25 Pokemon Christmas bundles and I want to sell all 25 of them. I saw those. I saw a short. And I wasn't interested in one, because you know I obviously have more Pokemon stuff than I need. But I didn't take the time to actually see what was in the bundle. But I'm sure you've made up a good bundle. So if anybody is looking for Pokemon bundles, One Foot's got them for sale. But I've just got, you guys know, I got Pokemon stuff for days. John's Many Collections, referring to Shed Flips. Yes, love their videos, but they are too long now. Yeah, I get why they made the change. You know, it's hard to put out. They were putting out 5-6 videos a week. That's hard to do, especially before Candace was on board. I mean, that's a huge commitment. So I get why they were doing it. It's to free up time. You know, their channel's at a point where, you know, they're comfortable with the viewers they have. They're comfortable with the amount of money they have. You know, I get their decision to do it. As a viewer, I don't like it, but I know why, but I don't like it, because I like, even the, you know, 35, 40-minute videos were hard for me to get through. Small town, small time bookseller. I can't edit well. That's why I always do it in one take, screw ups included. And that is, there's also a line there where if you just roll with it and you've got the personality for it, if you just roll with it and keep it going, there's like an endearing quality to that. There's something, a part of that actually will draw people in, is having those little bleeps and blorps in there that aren't supposed to be there. But yeah, you got the right attitude to roll with the punches. William Simmons, at foot, totally understand. I was referring to something else. Yeah, I don't think he thought you were talking about him. But he probably just wanted to put that out there. Not that I'm trying to sell something, but I'm trying to sell something. And there's that. I mean, you're a reseller. You're trying to resell things. I mean, that's not crazy. It would behoove me to make something like Christmas Pokemon bundles, but that would take time and effort, and I'd have to pull them back out of my TCG player. Ugh, what a nightmare that is. One foot, you can pat yourself on the back for that one. You was telling me the whole time, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. But it was the change in the metrics of how you get accepted into the TCG player direct program, which they used to be pretty loose on the guidelines, and now they are not. You got to be there. And I think the borderline to getting accepted into TCG player direct, which is kind of like a Amazon version of TCG player of TCG games, trading card games, Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, where you send it off. And then, no, sorry. Yes, direct is you send it off to them. No, let me rephrase it. They send you an order to replenish the stuff they have. So it's kind of like Amazon. But you would get large bulk orders so that you, instead of doing an order that takes, whatever time, but you get 30 cents for it, you would I think it's Wednesdays, they actually send out their orders. You would send out hundreds of cards. It would take you half a day to pack it, but it'd be a large sum of cards and a one-time payment. And now you have to have, I think it's minimum $600 sales a week to get into direct, which if you're doing that amount, you have like a store. You have like a brick and mortar. Like you have a game store, or it's lunacy. I'll never get into it. Now I'm just stuck. Oh, here we go. Cha-ching King, small time bookseller, just sub. There we go. We're throwing subs around. You get a sub. You get a sub. There we go. That's the next one I got to add. I got to get me an Oprah video clip here. But I'm going to be adding these in.
Forever. Forever. Forever.
That's fun. I like that. Rolling Stones, I never understood that. Doesn't it take just as long to put out 6 15-minute videos as it does to put out one 90-minute video? No. No. Well, at least not for me, because to edit smaller videos, you have to do, your front end stuff, your back end stuff. And lots of times, like when you're putting your pictures in, you'll have I get all my pictures off my phone to here. You have all your processes that you do. And so you can do those in bulk, your sections, which I just figured out 3 years later that the editing program I have, I can bank all of the editing features I use that I recreate every single video. I can just keep them in a bank and drop them in. I think my editing is going to go up from here because now the things I've been avoiding doing, I only have to do them once and then I can drag and drop them. I feel silly, but I mean, of course I should have just done more research and figured it out. But in general, no, I would say doing the one long video does take less time. But it depends on the video. Cha-ching King, I've got to go. I hope everyone has a great night. Scott, thanks for stopping in. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for being supportive. Thank you for giving other people subs. You're the man. One Foot Flipper, none of the store owners I know actually use TCG Direct. Yeah, and when I say brick and mortar, I'm not referring to brick and mortar like they have a front door that people shop at. I mean those brick and mortars that literally have a storefront just so they can have what are they called? Not dealers. suppliers, just that they can get suppliers. Lots of them never even open their front door. You probably, I mean, you know some of them, sure, but they have a brick and mortar, so that they have a business address so that they can get suppliers, and then they do box breaks and all that kind of stuff. But my experience with card stores is zero since 1995, because that was the last time we had a card store in my town. That's a rough estimate, but probably pretty close. Candace, how you doing? All right, well, unless there is any pertinent questions or comments or anything like that, I will, because people came in a little later, we got some more people than when we started. I do think I'm going to I'll just integrate them into Mondays. I'll probably start having guests. Maybe not not every week. Maybe I'll do that a once a month thing. So if you have people you think I should have on, like I said earlier, probably a lot of the people you see pop up in the chat, that would probably be the first people I would go to. And then, excuse me. Also, the reseller channel tier list ranking reviews thing I've been saying I'm going to do for probably over a year. I think I want to start doing that. And so in order to do that, I think some of the lives will be like a watch party where we'll pick, maybe 2 or 3 people and we'll watch a couple episodes together, depending on length. We won't be able to watch the shed flips because they're 45 minutes. But, maybe we'll watch a couple channels or maybe one channel, and we can, how do we like their editing? How do we like their content, or how they, their personality, or what they're reselling, or, all these kinds of things, figure out the metrics of how I'm going to rank them, all that kind of stuff. I think I want to start doing that too. Maybe that'll be a once a month thing. So the lives can get mixed up. A couple times will be AMAs, ask me anything. Once will be once a month be a guest, once a month be a watch party, all that kind of stuff. I think I'm going to try to mix up the lives a little bit. So you'll know when it happens, because I'll probably decide last minute, but I'll try to put that out ahead of time. So make sure for lives, because they will be sporadic, usually on Mondays, sometimes Tuesdays, that you got the bell notification on so that you know exactly when it comes out. And thank you all for coming. I really appreciate it. I really love doing these, and I hope I can continue to add some value to them and keep them going forward. Let me finish these up real quick. Mark Livermore, I remember the card store and the comic shop in your town. Yeah, the comic shop stuck around for a while. I actually worked with the owner. He still works at our movie theater. Super nice guy. I think it burnt at some point, maybe, but the entire time it was open, he worked at the movie theater. He had to have a full-time job so that he could have a part-time job at his comic book store. Andy Someta, signed Taylor Swift Folklore CD drops soon. Love me some T-Swizzle. Reseller Clickbait Podcast. Hey, everyone. If you haven't checked out the Reseller Clickbait Podcast, go check it out. It is pretty cool. I do enjoy it. Grams and Pops Vintage, thanks for the live, Drew. We'll be waiting for the next one. I appreciate that. So, okay, everybody, you have a good night. I'm going to go get me some dinner. Probably let me play you a video on the way out. We got a good one. Oh, I did. Yeah, I did add this one. Look at me. Actually, now I got to do 2 because I said, look at me. Oh, I didn't add that one. I got to add the look at the brain on Brad. All right, guys, be good to each other.
Just really neat. Hey, Pete. Do they ever really fix things? I have no idea what this is. What do I care? Let go. I'm good at this.